Welcome to part 3 of my showcase on the Ben 10 add-on for the fisks superhero mod. This is the final part of this showcase and we will be covering the Alien Force aliens. So Ben 10 Alien Force happens after the original series. It basically covers Ben when he's 15 years old and he has 10 brand new aliens in his Omnitrix. So we're going to activate our Omnitrix, and the first one we got here in playlist 3 is called Swampfire. Oh yeah, looks fantastic. So Swampfire was the first alien I believe that Ben had in Alien Force. His abilities include jumping high, as we can see, and he can also right click to shoot like vines or needles, I guess, like so, which is pretty cool. He can also, if you press shift, you can go down into the ground, the same thing as Wildvine can do. And if I hold my Y key, I can also shoot fire like a flamethrower. Looks fantastic, look at this. Oh my god, they're all dead. As you can see, it's got a pretty decent range too. It's like a couple of blocks. And we can take out the mobs. There we go. Fantastic. And we can also do toggle tentacles. So if I press P, he brings like a bunch of vines out of the ground like this. So very similar abilities to Wildvine. We can toggle tentacles off, pressing the same key. And we can do a tentacle grab, same thing as Wildvine can do basically. So I would say Swampfire is honestly like Wildvine combined a bit with Heat Blast. Because he's got the fire abilities. He can also do the projectiles. He can jump higher. He cannot fly, I don't believe. But he can do also, if we press O, look at this. It's a ring of fire. That looks so cool. So cool. So you can do this, and all the enemies in the nearby area that are surrounding you will be attacked by it. And the particle effects look really cool too. So Swampfire actually has a lot of abilities, a lot of utility for this guy. Next up, we've got Echo. So this guy has like a sonar ability. He has very similar abilities to Ditto too. Ditto can duplicate, Echo can do the same thing. And we can also, if we hold down our Y key, we shoot out like the same thing that Blitzwolfer has, you know, like the sonic howl kind of thing, where like the sound waves come out of the mouth and they do a bunch of damage. It's very good. Press our I key, we have the same thing, duplication spell, the exact same as Ditto, like so. It's not really working right now for some reason. I don't know why. That's strange. It's actually not working with Echo. It was working with Ditto fine, but weird. But yeah, it's the same thing as Ditto basically has, which we did in part 2. But apart from that, yeah, that's all there is to Echo really. He's just kind of like small. He's like 1 block tall. He's a little short dude. And yeah, he looks kind of cool. And next up, we've got Humongosaur. This guy is so cool. He is massive, like huge. And he's got a bunch of like strength abilities, same as Forearms kind of. But he's just a lot bigger, really. So if we press Y, we can do a right click and then it will ground smash like that and do a bunch of damage. So very similar abilities to Forearms, like a bunch of strength abilities basically. And he is kind of slow, but I mean, his size makes up for it. Look at the size of the dude. And the really cool thing about Humongosaur is we can also do a size manipulation by pressing the I key. And if we scroll while I have I held, we get bigger. If I do it in the other direction, shrink down again like that. It's really cool. Look at this. We get bigger if I scroll, and then we shrink down again if I unscroll. Yeah, that's really cool. And he also like grows like the spikes and stuff on his tail, that kind of thing, when he gets bigger too. So Humongosaur is a very cool, very unique character, which is loosely based on a dinosaur, I think, is the inspiration for the alien. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to Humongosaur, really. Very similar abilities to Forearms, as I said, and can do a ground smash, that kind of thing as well. And he also does very decent damage too in regular hits, so can like 2-shot a regular zombie and stuff like that. Next up, we've got Jetray. Jetray can fly. Jetray is very cool. What we can do is we can press Y, and we shoot out a laser beam like this. And it gives them some particle effect. I'm not sure what particle effect it is. It might be weakness or something, I think. But yeah, it's basically just a beam. The same as iGuy's kind of beam. And it's very strong. Has very far range as well. And it does very good consistent damage. So you can kind of like 3 or 4 shot a zombie with the vision. So 4 or 5, I guess. 4 or 5 hits, yeah. And yeah, as I said, he can also glide like so. I don't believe he can properly fly. Oh, maybe he can actually. Now he's doing it. So I think it's based on momentum, kind of, the flying. It's a little weird, but I think if you get the right height when you fall, you can kind of start into a glide, and then you can control the direction when you go with your mouse So wherever you aim your mouse and hold W, it'll just go in that direction, I think, basically. Next up, we've got Big Chill. This guy is fantastic. He's also very similar to Ghost Freak in some of his abilities. Big Chill can fly as well, similarly to Jet Ray. As you can see, this is vanilla flying. This is in creative mode flying. And he does fly pretty fast as well, which is cool. And we can also use our eye, which is intangibility. And we can travel through blocks like this. So this is very useful. Like the flying and the intangibility, very, very useful. Especially if there's like obstacles and stuff in your way, you can just fly through them. And then you can come out of intangibility and go back into it as you please to hit through like different blocks and stuff. So it's very, very cool like that. He's got very decent speed in his flying too. And there is also the Y ability, which is shoot. And this is kind of a charge up, or like a railgun. And then we shoot a bunch of ice or snow at the enemy, and it kills them very, very quickly, actually. So it does one shot, or like not one shot, but like kill them in one blast, you could say. So do it again. This one actually survived the first blast, but that's whatever. So yeah, his abilities include basically flying like so. It looks really cool the way his legs like kind of move backwards, like it's actual movement based when he's in the air. It's really cool like that. We have the flying, we have the intangibility, similarly to Ghost Freak, and we can also use the freeze breath with the Y. So it's like a railgun. We charge it up and we shoot the cold breath then. So very, very cool alien. Very, very cool indeed. Look at this graph! A large amount of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so if you do enjoy the video and you want to help me out, please do click that nice red subscribe button down below. It's totally free and you can always unsubscribe later if you want. Next up, we've got Chroma Stone, and there's like a bunch of lore with this guy in the series, I remember. My memory's a bit foggy on it, but I think it was like Diamond Head and Chroma Stone are from the same planet or something, and basically I think Chroma Stone was inside of Diamond Head, if I remember correctly, and then an alien from Diamond Head species like broke Diamond Head open and Chroma Stone came out and then like saved their species or something like that. It was something very strange, but it was a pretty cool episode. I need to watch it again sometime. But yeah, Chroma Stone basically is like a rock guy, and he can shoot like lasers from his crystal and stuff like that. So if we press Y, we shoot this massive laser out of our hand like this. And yeah, it looks very, very cool. We can also press I, and it will give us a shield. As long as we're holding I, it has this shield like so. It kind of like has, you can take as much damage as you want to the shield, and it won't damage you. But the shield has a durability bar, so the more you get hit, the durability goes down on the shield. And once it goes to 0, the shield will drop, and you'll start taking normal damage from enemies. So yeah, that's Chroma Stone. He's pretty cool. He can jump very high too. And he also does some decent damage too when you punch enemies normally like so. So you can kind of four-shot a regular zombie. Next up, we've got Brainstorm, and he's like this crab looking dude. He's fantastic looking as well, and he in the show he's able to open up his brain, or open up his head, and his brain is there, and he shoots lightning out of his brain and stuff. It's pretty cool actually. So he also has a shield. If we press I, it's like an electric shield over him. Same thing as Chroma Stone's shield, basically same mechanics. If we press Y, he opens up the brain and he shoots lightning out of it. Look at this. And the lightning actually has very good range too. A very good range. And it does a lot of damage. We can spawn some more of these guys in, and then we'll do the... Yeah, it does very good damage. Very, very good damage. It will like 2 or 3 shot a regular zombie, which is very good actually. Very, very good. And yeah, that's basically Brainstorm. Next up, we've got Spider Monkey. And this guy is essentially a monkey that has spider abilities. He's kind of crazy. So he jumps very high, can run pretty fast like this. He kind of goes on all fours, and we can do a web zip. So if we press I, it will like latch on and we can swing around like that. This is, I believe it works because of the Spider-Man part of the Fisk superhero mod. So you can just kind of press I on a bunch of different things and it'll like swing you towards them and this kind of thing. It's really cool. Yeah, look at that. It's fantastic. It's super, super cool, actually. And we can do toggle web swinging, which is a little tricky to get to work, I think. Because, you know, we're not really in a city or anything. And we can also hold Y and scroll to switch between our impact web and our sticky web. So sticky web will stick mobs if we hit them with it. So we can spawn in a couple of guys here. And if we right click, it will shoot a sticky web. I don't think it hit anyone, though. Did it? There we go. I think it just gives some slowness, maybe. I don't actually know what effect it does give. because they don't seem to be like stopped or anything, so I assume it is just giving them slowness maybe. And this one is stuck to me actually, so maybe I can stick mobs together even. I'm not super sure how this one works, if I'm being totally honest. It's based on the Spider-Man mod anyway, that's all I know. The Spider-Man part of fisks superhero mod, so yeah. But there is a way to like stick webs together in this kind of thing. It's very, very like detailed, so you'll have to learn a bit about the Spider-Man mod for this, but it's kind of all those abilities essentially. It's got like Spider-Man abilities. There's also the impact web, which we can just do with a normal right click on an enemy, and it'll do a bunch of damage too. So you can toggle between the impact web and the sticky web as you choose. Impact web is damage, sticky web will just like slow them or whatever, so yeah, up to you. Next up, we've got Goop. And Goop is literally just a pile of sludge. He's just a big pile, a big pool of like goo. This is basically what Goop is. So we can do liquid form, and he will go into his like little bubble. And yeah, here we are, just chilling. And we got the little hover thing over our head, so we know where Goop is exactly. And for some reason, I'm just going upwards. I don't know if this is a bug or what is happening, but I cannot move in any direction. I'm simply going up. This is where I'm going now. So yeah, I can go back out of liquid form, I guess, and go back to normal, and we can yeah, that's basically all there is to Goop. Oh, okay, there we go. You press shift and you're able to go down with it. It wasn't working. Okay, so you press shift to actually use the Goop thing, and you can kind of go up really high actually with it and stuff if you hold spacebar. It's pretty cool. You can kind of fly a little with Goop, I guess, then. But yeah, apart from the liquid form, there's really not much more to do with Goop. He's just... they kind of did him a bit dirty in this mod, actually. And the final alien of the mod... Alien X. Look at this guy. He looks beautiful. This is actually the most powerful alien that Ben ever had in anything. He has, like, control of the universe, basically. He can make anything happen. Super overpowered alien that Ben has, and yeah, if I don't press F1 or go into my third person view, this is the only screen I can see, and it's literally just these two guys. These guys basically control what Alien X is allowed to do, so Ben has to ask them for something, and if they then agree to it, which they never do, they just kind of argue forever, then he's able to make it happen. But because they never agree on anything, Alien X is kind of a bit useless for Ben, and he gets stuck in Alien X a bunch. So I don't actually know how you can do anything in the mod with Alien X, because I get stuck in this screen and nothing seems to ever happen. I think it's just, maybe it's supposed to be like this, but I can never get anything to happen with Alien X whenever I try to do anything. So I've pressed all the keys and stuff, and it just never really does anything. So I don't know. Maybe it's just supposed to be like this. Maybe they're adding it in the future. I have no idea. But for now, this is all I can do with Alien X. So yeah. But that's about all for this mod showcase. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see the other parts, they'll be linked down in the description. Part 1 is the original 10 aliens. Part 2 is the 10 aliens after the original 10. And this part 3 is the Alien Force aliens. Thank you so much for watching. The mod will be available to download down in the description. Again, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Take care.